Should I say who I am?
Please.
Yes. My name is Nathan Lopez Cardozo. I'm the Dean of the David Cardozo Academy in Yerushalayim and in Herzliya. I'm a person who my whole life I've been struggling with the question what it means to be religious. Until this very day, I'm not sure whether I am religious. I'm trying very hard. Perhaps it is nearly an impossible task. But Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur tell me, and I hope also tells you, that we should give it a good try. To be authentic, to be a Jew by choice, not by copying other people, not by just wanting to belong to a religious group, because that's not what religiosity is all about, but about being myself, to let my neshama, my soul, speak, and to grow every day to become a better Jew and to become a better human being. And that is far from easy. To me, to be religious, first of all, means to live in amazement, in radical amazement, to walk around in this world and to constantly be aware of the wonders of what this world is all about. The fact that I live, that I'm able to eat, that I can laugh, that I can help, that I can do all the great things which makes our life so more beautiful. And doing that requires a lot of effort. You need to know how to live in wonder by walking around and constantly be able to say, wow, how unbelievable. And if you look into the halakha in Jewish law, at least that's the way how I understand it, it tries to teach us how to say how, when to say it, and to say it in an authentic way. When I make a bracha, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei peri hagavin, blessed is God, the King of the world, who has made the wine. Then at that moment I'm making a statement of amazement. I'm saying, wow, there is wine. I'm able to eat an apple. But to continue to do that in an authentic way and not to get used to it, and not to fall to complacency, that's the big problem. And there are no easy ways out. You have to be a hero. And who is able to be a religious hero today? But Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur remind us that perhaps after all these years of trying, we are able to accomplish it, at least to get a little closer. And I'll tell you something very interesting. For many years, I've been wondering about this unusual prayer at the beginning of Yom Kippur, which we call Kol Nidre. It's a prayer, takes 5 minutes, and nearly every Jew in the world comes to that prayer. Even when he's secular, even atheists will come to the synagogue to hear that prayer. And then they go home. And very often that's the only time in the whole year that they ever enter a synagogue. But look to the prayer, and you suddenly realize that it is not at all a prayer. It is a legal statement. It is a statement by which we say and through which we try to get rid and to absolve us from all the promises, the vows which we have made throughout the last year. All what we have said we would do, we are suddenly without them. And then we enter into the real moment of asking God for forgiveness. Why is this prayer, which is not even a prayer but a statement, a legal statement, so important that every Jew in the world wants to be part of it? Doesn't make much sense. And if you look into the history of the Jewish tradition, then you will find there were many rabbis who fought against this prayer. They said, since when does the Jewish tradition allow you to start saying that you won't keep your promise? that you won't keep your vows. This is exactly the reverse of what the Jewish tradition is teaching us. So how did it enter into our most holy day of the year, Yom Kippur? And why is it there at the very beginning, actually before Yom Kippur starts, because it is still light in the afternoon? I tell you what I think it means. I'm a Portuguese-Spanish Jew. I'm a child of Marranos, Anusim we say in Hebrew. They were people who were forced to become Catholics and Christians at the time of the Inquisition in 1492. Many of them tried to save their lives at the time, as my forefathers did. How did they save their lives? By saying to the church, okay, we will become Christians. We start to believe in Jewish, or better in Christian tradition. We will go for their dogmas, for their teachings. If this is the way how we can keep ourselves alive and our families and our children, we will do so. But deep down they knew that it was all not true. They didn't believe in the teachings of Christianity. They didn't believe in the dogmas of the church. But they lived like that. A double life, a hidden life. And then it became Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. They knew which date it was. And they secretly, right under the nose of the church, tried to create a minyan, a synagogue service, so that after all they would have a Yom Kippur and ask God for forgiveness. But how could they do this when they had made a vow to the church? They felt hypocritical about it. They said, how can we walk into this day and ask God to forgive us when we have made promises and vows and all sorts of other things to the church, as if this is the truth? We first of all need to clean ourselves of all these vows which we never meant. We only did so because we tried to save our lives. So then they said, you know what, let's start having a kind of statement in front of some kind of a rabbinical court where we officially state that we no longer believe in all the teachings of the church. And after they had liberated themselves from these vows they did not believe in, they felt better. They were back in the Jewish tradition. They suddenly became Jews by choice again. And then they started the synagogue service, secretly, but knowing that after all, they were deep down the Jews they wanted to be. It seems that this is the way how the Kol Nidrei service actually started. So the big question is this: if that's the reason why we say Kol Nidrei, why do we still say Kol Nidrei today? There's no longer an inquisition. We are no longer asked by the church to baptize. We can live our free lives. We can stay Jews if we want. So what is the meaning behind still today having Kol Nidrei? I tell you what I think. I believe that we are still Marranos till this very day. We're still Anusim, because we still make promises to a lot of things we don't actually believe. It may be materialism, it may be money, it may be one day communism, capitalism, socialism. It may be many isms which have come around, and many Jews have come and believed in them, but deep down they knew it was not the real thing. And so it is even today. We have fallen to secularism, we believe in it, and we know it is not always true. And one day in the year, even when it is only for 5 minutes, we want to be real, authentic Jews, listening to our neshamot, to our souls. So how do we do this? We need to do the same thing what the Marranos did in 1492 at the time of the Inquisition. We have to get rid of these promises and these vows, which we deep down know are not really who we are all about. And so we continue every year again to say to ourselves, Kol Nidrei, all the particular vows which we have made in the last year, which we know are not true, and have been believing in things which are not true, We want to liberate ourselves from them. We want to get redeemed from them so that we can really stand in an authentic way in front of God and to say to Him, forgive us. If we can do that, then it may take only 5 minutes, but it has got infinite meaning. And that is what I think Yom Kippur tries to teach us. Let's be authentic. Let's try again a little to be religious, so that we can stand and say, we did our utmost best. And even the atheist, and even the secular Jew, knows deep down, there is nothing greater than being Jewish. Kutiva, Chatima, Tova.